Solutionaries, Maj Toure here for the Maj Toure show. Appreciate you all for tapping in. Yeah, come on in, comment, guys. Let me know where you from. Let me know where you at. Let's talk. Let's talk. We're gonna talk about it. Let me know what city you in. Let me know what area you are, what platform you're streaming from. Put it in the comment section. Make sure you guys share the show. If you guys are watching on X, I just did a lot X space on this not long ago. Please share that space. Please, it's all over the place. We're gonna talk about it, guys. Listen, the conversation is this Thomas-Massie Donald Trump shit. We're gonna talk about it. It's a legit conversation. It's gonna take us in a bunch of different places. Please share. Michael Jackson. Hee hee. If that's your real name, I know everybody, nobody ever lets you live that down. Tony Brown is from Southern Florida over in X. Jump into YouTube in a little bit. Thank you. Guys, I'm gonna ask everybody to support the work. You guys know that we're now 398 more donors, $100 donors away from ending all of our fundraising. Come on, man. So I'm going to ask you guys to do this throughout the stream. I want you guys to please support it by sharing it, as well as donate towards the work. Well, givesendgo.com/solutionaries where you can donate. I want to continue to give you guys political breakdowns and content of things like this, but our work is BGM and the Solutionary Center. I'm in the RV. I have been in here for 3 weeks with very little human contact because we got to get this fundraising done. And we're 398 donors away from doing that at the $100 level. So if you get some value from this, guys, please support the work. Givesendgo.com/solutionary. If you on X watching this, it's the pinned post in my page. So after this live, please support the work. If you can't give it the $100 level, that helps a lot, knock down the chunks. But if you can't give it that level, give it whatever you can. We're going to talk about it, guys. This Donald Trump situation, there's a few L's back to back from Donald Trump. Now, I want to be very clear with everybody. I am not a never Trumper. I am not, I've liked Donald Trump. I disagree with some of his takes. And if you're a balanced human, you can like somebody and disagree with some of their takes. You, if they are a public servant, you are able to say, I agree with this and I disagree with this. This is questionable, even if it's lawful. This is something that is unconstitutional, that I'm not in alignment with. And we hold those public servants to that. And this is what this conversation is about. We got Big Rob in here. We got DP says definitely a L. We're going to go over a few of the L's that I believe that Trump is taking. And I'm going to engage you guys. I can see your comments right now. And so I'll just kind of like do it that way. Also, guys, super chats are a thing. Support the work. If you do a super chat, please name a small business and your comment, a website, a social media page. If somebody just doing some good work in the community, all of it helps. All of it helps. So, guys, I'm going to just read it straight up like this. This is what Donald Trump had to say about Thomas-Massie. If those of you who do not know who Thomas-Massie is, he's unequivocally, maybe since Ron Paul, the best congressman that we got, the best guy that we got in DC. Very principled, libertarian. Obviously, he ran as a Republican because he represents the state of Kentucky. And I woke up this morning to see so many people talking about what Donald Trump said here on Truth Social. Now, this is in relation to the CR, the continuing resolution that is a holdover from the Biden administration and the funding and all of that. Let's read this part first, and we'll go over what Donald Trump said about Massie. We'll go over into what Massie said in return, and we're going to dispel some of the myths that a lot of the people have about the CR. One of the major ones being like this is Republican legislation, and it's just not. It just isn't. So let's read this first. Thank you to the House Freedom Caucus for just delivering a big blow to the radical left Democrats and their desire to raise taxes or shut the country down. They hate America and all it stands for. That's why they allowed millions of criminals to invade our nation. Sometimes it takes great courage to do the right thing. Congressman Thomas-Massie of beautiful Kentucky is an automatic no vote on just about everything, despite the fact that he has always voted for continuing resolutions in the past. He should be primaried. For those of you that don't know, because we got some beginners. The primary means when you have your primary elections before the general, we knock that person out and he doesn't even make it to the general election. That's like getting knocked out right the day before the playoffs start, or to get knocked out in the first round, for example, right? He should be primary, and I will lead the charge against him. He's just another grandstander who's too much trouble and not worth the fight. He reminds me of Liz Cheney before her historic record-breaking fall loss. The people of Kentucky won't stand for it. Just watch. Do I have any takers? Anyway, thank you again to the House Freedom Caucus for your very important vote. We need to buy some time in order to make America great again, greater than ever before. Unite and win. Now, again, guys, this is a CR that has been for about 15 going on 16 months going backwards into the President Biden administration. Some of y'all are going to say some shit like, well, Biden, and this is what Trump said too. And this is, and actually, before I even jump to what some of y'all going to say, let's go over the inconsistencies here. Okay. Um, he mixes like as if Massey is saying anti-MAGA shit. He mixes that in there to make it appear as if he's anti-American, and that's just not the case. That's 1000% not the case. And I want to say inaccurate because I don't want to put a label onto somebody that they hand don't call for. I don't want to say that Trump is straight up lying. I don't want to say that, but there's inaccuracies here. When he says Massey votes no on just about everything, despite the fact that he's always voted for continuing resolutions. That is untrue. I posted on X. There's a video of me having a reposting what Thomas Massey said. And I said this before he made the video, but I thought it was important for y'all to hear it from his mouth. He's never voted on a CR that made it to law, right? And other than the one that this one right here, but they're going to talk about it as if he's yes on everything, including Biden shit, leaving out context, and at the same time, just saying no to Trump. First of all, politicians, limited government politicians, are supposed to say no more. You're not supposed to agree to everything. We all understand that when we hear our favorite entrepreneurs. You say no to more things than you say yes. You focus, you make a strategic plan, da 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 da. We understand that. But somehow Trump is trying to package it as if he's just saying no to Trump stuff to rally his base, meaning Trump's base. All right. So that's not true. As far as him being primaried, listen, guys, and Massey said this. Massey has came up against 3 political opponents for his seat in Kentucky. The best that any one of them has done is like 23, 24, 25%. That job of representing the people of Kentucky will be Thomas Massey's until Thomas Massey does not want it. Not because people just aren't smart. It's because his constituents trust him because he's done what he said he was supposed to do and going to do. And he did what his constituents told him they wanted. That is the job. We send our public servants to DC to do our bidding, not DC's bidding. We can't on one hand say we want to drain the swamp and then fund the swamp. It's just not cool. All right. So that part isn't true as far as the primary. He should be primary. I'll lead the charge against him. He's another grandstander. No, he's a principled politician, one of the very few left. Now, years ago, for those of y'all that may not know exactly who Thomas Massey is, years ago in 2020, when the politicians wanted to have a private vote, an unrecorded vote on the biggest wealth transfer in American history, socialism, in the form of the COVID relief thing. They were going to have a behind the scenes unrecorded vote. Thomas Massey said no, and he drove from Kentucky to DC to record his vote. There's a video on YouTube of him outside saying they don't want the American public to know what they're doing in there. And no, I'm not going to stand for it. Trump called him a grandstander then and said the same exact thing. I'm going to primary you. I'm going to get behind your political opponent. And that political opponent got his ass whipped. All right. I was on the phone with Thomas Massie. I'm always going to tell the story every single time. I called Thomas Massie maybe a half hour after he was on the phone with Trump. Is this has been said before, where I'm going to primary you for doing your job. Trump suffers from the problem of wanting everybody to kiss the knee. America is not a dictatorship. America is not a fascist, totalitarian, authoritarian regime. We are a constitutional republic that practices the democratic process, that elects people that are bound by a system of checks and balances. That's what America is. So when somebody does that job, and because it doesn't align with what you think they should do, you say this person should be primary. Well, unfortunately, For that viewpoint, his constituents see otherwise. All right. Him saying the people of Kentucky won't stand for it and all that other good stuff, that's just not true. And lastly, we need to buy some time in order to make America great again, greater than ever before, unite and win. Trump is great at pep rallies and motivating people. He's a showman, right? He could run the shit out of a circus. Okay. That's what he's doing here. This does not, he's mixing things that, yes, there were millions under the Biden administration that let unlawful immigration happen. The Biden administration took the state of Texas to court and federal court to get them to stop securing the border. These things happen. But trying to associate that with Thomas-Massie is just not true. It's just not accurate. All right. I'm DA Brown with the $10 super chat. Thank you for that. Says Stranger Palooza / Who Moved My Freedom podcaster. I'm assuming that's the podcast, yours or somebody that you know. Thank you for that shout out. Guys, let's try to make the goal tonight. I think it's $250 support. We got 10, so let's say it's 200. Now we need 190 more. All right. So thank you for that. I think I'm saying your name right. I'm DA Brown or I'm the Brown, whichever one. Thank you for that. So this association of anti-American policies with Thomas-Massie is just wrong. It's just wrong. It's like not even like true. It's inaccurate and by every sense of what the word means. Now I want to read real briefly again. This is not Republic. It's not a Republican bill. It's not. This is a holdover from the Biden administration. And I think a lot of people are hearing that. A lot of neocon pundits, some neocon pundits know, but they just know and just are lying or omitting certain things. But I think a lot of them don't know. They think that they're, because it's been packaged this way, as Massey's just trying to grandstand and hurt the America First MAGA agenda. And that's not the case. But I want to give you guys some backdrop to the CR. They've proverbially kicked the can down the road as it relates to this CR. This is what Thomas-Massie said. The argument for CR in September of 2024 was the fight in December of 2024 after the election, which I can relate to. I can understand it. Hey, let's not fight about the CR right now. Get our guy. Let's beat the Harris administration. That's fair. That's objective. That's reasonable. Okay. Let's read a little bit more. The argument for the CR in December 2024, after they won the election, was to in March 2025 after the inauguration. Now, to me, I could kind of see that, but not as much as the first reason. You're already in. The inauguration, I mean, unless you get shot, and they did try to shoot Trump twice. I believe that they shot at him, right? I don't believe this whole like, oh, that was fake. I just don't believe that, right? And I've asked high-level snipers if they think that was a true assassination attempt, and they're like, yeah, right? But that argument starts to get weaker. Again, the argument for CR in December 2020, after they said they would re-talk about it in December 2024, was to fight in March 2020 after the inauguration. Excuse gets weaker, kind of understand it, don't understand it as much as the other one. And lastly, the argument for CR in March 2025, this month, is to fight in September 2025 because we're not ready yet. Absolute weak sauce. Absolute weak sauce. Not even a question. It's weak sauce. You're kicking the can. And I hate some of these cliches, but this is 1000% fits that cliche. Okay? You're kicking the can down the road again. And let's talk about some of the numbers in this Biden administration CR. Few weeks ago, we just saw J.D. Vance chop Vladimir Zelensky up in the White House for his rudeness. We gave you $300 billion, da-da-da-da. All agreed no more money should go to Ukraine. There's nobody in here that is going to disagree with the fact that, like, even if it's now like, okay, Ukraine, you got, what the fuck, right? Moderates and some leftists. This CR still has spending that would allocate $38 billion to Ukraine. Still. After this whole debacle with Zelensky, still. That still would be in there. That's fucking wrong. But because they got 12 things in this bill, and they say, yeah, vote on it because we need the money and we need to wait a little bit. No, I'm supposed to vote no. How do we just say Doge is finding all of this government waste and then support a continuing resolution that spends the same amount, if not more. It would add, I think, 300 and some odd, 358, one crazy number to the deficit in 2025, right? So you're supposed to say no. Going back to the earlier conversation, politicians, public servants, limited government conservatives are supposed to say no to things like this. But when you have Trump that wants everybody to kiss the ring, and again, you can disagree with Trump without saying, you hate Trump. You could be Massey's correct, because not only Massey here. Look what DP said. That's exactly what Rand Paul said. It's nothing but a holdover from the Biden administration. Rand Paul is also a no on this. The reason why Rand Paul isn't getting the conversation as much is because Trump didn't put Rand Paul on blast on his social media platform. But that's what happened. So these folks that are pundits, the Laura Loomers, the DC Dranos, the Cat Turds, they either are unaware of this and just saying, we just riding with Trump, or they're very aware of it and omitting that to the general public. I would like to know what y'all think about which one is it? Are they dumb and following, or are they aware and just ignoring and omitting? Either one is a dangerous space to be in. It's not cool. It's like not even a conversation around that. Okay? So we add to the deficit, 2 trillion deficit, by the way, right? We add to the deficit. We give money to Ukraine. We continue the spending pattern that the last 15 going on 16 months back into the Biden administration that we all just said was a horrible waste. And tell me why you're supposed to vote yes on this. I promise y'all, I'm being objective. I promise y'all. I just want to know what I'm not seeing here. Because be something that I just don't see. What am I not seeing, y'all? Somebody will tell me in the chat. Chat, let me know. Chat, let me know. Maj, you a high school dropout. You missed this. I think I like to read around and be objective, but tell me what I'm missing. Seth says they're aware. Seth says they're aware. Let me put that on the screen. Seth from X. If you guys follow me on X, please share the space all over the place. Share this live. Cost you nothing to do it. It helps us get more perspective in here. Because I want to hear some pushback from the people that disagree with me. All right. I don't need a chamber. I like yes men when we building towards a goal and we focused on that. But when we tossing around perspective, I don't need a yes man. All right. Seth says they're aware. Tell me why you think they're aware, Seth. Vin Zinger says, I think Loomer and Cat Turd are joining the hate train against Massie. They are. Most of the people that got them binders, them phase 1 Epstein list binders that had less information in that than was already publicly available for years, those are the people that's like, oh, Massie's horrible. All of a sudden. There's a few. I was surprised when I saw Matt Walsh, because he usually has dumbass takes. But he didn't take the wrong take on this one. He was like, I don't even see the point of attacking Thomas Massie. Candace Owens, right? Who showed I disagree with Candace on certain takes, but I don't think Candace is trying to be rude. I think Candace is like, that doesn't even make sense to attack him. But those people that was there, they got phase 1 binders. They all lockstep. That's obviously a PR campaign. Obviously, somebody in the chat, guys, comment. Give me the energy. Tell me where y'all think I'm right, wrong. I want to hear y'all perspective. I want to throw y'all up. Guys, listen. Throughout the space tonight, we trying to raise. I'm in the RV. I've been in this RV for 3 weeks fundraising. We now only need 100 more donors at the $100 level, and I can be done. We buy a building. For those of you that don't know, my name is Maj Toure. I'm the founder of Black Guns Matter and the Solutionary Lifestyle. We have a $75,000 donor match, meaning a buddy of mine is going to give us $75,000 for raising $75,000 so we can buy our building and keep these classes, all of the classes, civics, stop the bleed, firearms, free to all. So all day tonight, I'm going to ask you guys, if you get some value from this content, support it with a donation at givesendgo.com/solutionary. Somebody type it so I can put it on the wall. Givesendgo.com/solutionary. There's 430 folks in here. Guys, let's get the likes up. I don't know how many people are watching from YouTube, but if you're watching from YouTube, please, guys, get the likes up. Get the likes up. Hit the like button. Share it all over the place. But I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from y'all. Tell me what I'm not seeing. Tell me what I'm not seeing. Please, guys. Let me know. Maj, you missing this. You missing that. You missing this. 1 second, guys. Let me know what I'm missing. The Daily Whiner. they just, I just don't get it. How can you use the Biden administration so hard? And the biggest thing that's a from that administration is more economic. How could you add least? How could you get out onto social media and attack the person that's saying no? If you're in opposition to Rand Paul and Trump-Massie, you should step back and look at the situation. Wait a minute. History. I'm going to primary you. Trump, big spender. That is not fiscally conservative. Okay? It's not fiscally conservative. Let's see what some of the people saying in the chat. Kyle DaCosta says, thanks for being on those payroll for sure. Hey, listen, if we can't get the support that we need, I understand why a lot of the real one payroll, because it's hard fundraising to stay independent. Guys, please support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Super chats, grab some merch, blackgunsmatter.shop. Support the work. We need all of the support. We're trying to raise $5,000 tonight before midnight. Okay? So we do need the real ones. And I'm not on the payroll. I wouldn't be pushing this hard, bothering you all about the fundraising if I was. Vin Zinger says, as for Trump starting a fight against Massie, I think Trump did that because Trump is a bit misguided. I want to agree with you, but listen, you already had this job before. And the things that Massie said when you were out there and when Biden was in, they came to pass. Massie didn't hold a grudge against Trump. He supported Trump. He was with DeSantis in the beginning. Then he put his energy behind Trump. Okay, 10 or 11 days before the election. Okay, so I can't use misguided as an excuse at this point. Especially if you're talking that heavy. If you're talking that heavy and you misguided, shit is which one is worse? Ignorance, incompetence, or deliberate misdirection? I don't know. Okay, that's what Venzinger says. Shelly208 says, hello from Idaho. I've been reserved in my opinions and judgments about a few things lately. Why? Share, Shelly. Big D says, I guarantee you a lot of what's happened so far is stuff they'd be screeching like chimpanzees if it was Biden or Harris at the helm. I agree. What's up, Bookworm? I agree. I agree. Imagine if the Biden administration was still trying to do this level of reckless spending. If Doge finds trillions in waste or billions, let's say it's billions, and then you increase the debt ceiling, and then you spend on the same pattern and trajectory, all of the conservatives will be rhinos, Republicans, conservatives in DC will be like, look at this waste, look at this waste. But yet and still, when you find waste with Doge and then you spend it all over again, tell me how you balance in a budget. There has not been a balanced budget in America since like the late 90s, if I'm not mistaken. It's not okay. Okay? In 2020, when Massie pushed back against this, he was drugged through the mud then. That's what Big D just said. Pause. Right? And he was right. You know, I just did a space not long ago on X. If you guys are watching on X, that space is there. And we talked about this same topic, right? That right there is where you guys can support our Second Amendment and liberty work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. A brother in the space said Trump-Massie is our modern day Cato, and I thought that example and analogy was so damn spot on. If you guys didn't know, Cato was the person that was in opposition to Julius Caesar back in the day. And his whole thing was he could not be bought, and he was principled. And Julius Caesar and others thought that was not the okay and smart way to do it for modern Rome at that time. And in time, Cato wound up being correct. And I thought that analogy was so 1000% spot on. Right now, the Cato Institute may not be as libertarian now as it maybe have initially set out to be, but you guys get my point. Okay, I can't allow the misguided conversation to ignore the people in the room that know these things and have been proven to be accurate. That's kind of like that's not the best leadership. Okay, it's just not. It's just not. It's not good leadership. It just isn't. So let's read a little bit more of what happened here. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. Let me make sure. Okay, so that was the argument that Trump-Massie had about the CR and giving some clarification. If you follow me on X, I screen grabbed Trump-Massie's breakdown of his whole thing, because some of y'all are going to say, well, he voted. He voted for the CR on the Biden administration. What you don't know is that came with assurances that the spending would be cut. And it was cut to 1% annually. Then it was like, if you don't cut, then we get to, this is null and void. They agreed to that. And that's why Massey agreed with CR. 1% cut annually is going in the proper direction, right? He did that, and that was supposed to be the rule of law. And now Mike Johnson just totally disregarded that. Totally disregarded that. It's not me making this up. But let's read. This is what Massey said in response to Donald Trump. Someone thinks they can control my voting card by threatening my reelection. Guess what? Doesn't work on me. 3 times I've had a challenger who tried to be more MAGA than me, unbusted 20. My constituents prefer transparent principles over blind allegiance. That is the Cato conversation. And we got to be honest about that. Listen, I'm not telling y'all that are Trump supporters in the space, in the stream right now. I'm not telling y'all that you're supposed to be anti-Trump. You're supposed to have more of an allegiance to limited government, the Constitution, and saving your future children's and grandchildren's economic ability. This massive spending means there has to be massive, what do you call it? Spending means there has to be massive money printing. When there's massive money printing, that impacts the dollar. When that impacts the dollar, that literally can and will and has had an impact in future generations' buying power, the power of the dollar. When the power of the dollar continues to drop in that fiat currency, right? What happens then is countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, BRICS say we're not using the United States dollar as the world's reserve currency. It's weak. Then you go into this spiral. I don't think that people understand economically how important this is. This is our job as solutionaries. When you guys tap into this space, that's why I want to keep making more of this content. Our job is to distill it into explainable points that more moderate people, even some on the left, they're a little more moderate, that can get an understanding, because I promise you, these neocon pundits are not telling the whole story. They're not telling you that this is a Biden era spending spree. They're not telling you that. They're not telling you that Massey was like, yeah, I'll vote for that because there's annual 1% decreases. They're not telling you that Mike Johnson is just like, well, this technically isn't a CR, so we're just going to ignore that. They're not telling you that part. Too stupid or too deceptive. The American people don't need that. Tell me where I'm wrong, y'all. I know, I'm just a high school dropout that reads stuff, right? Nathan Thurm with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Nathan. Appreciate you for that. DP says, seems like Republicans are using Doge as a smokescreen, acting as if they're against reckless spending, just to then shoot down Rand Paul's amendment, true indeed, to cut $1.5 trillion from the budget. That happened. That just happened a couple of weeks ago. Rand Paul was like, I got something. I'll present a bill. It'll cut $1.2 trillion, and the vast majority of Republicans voted no against it. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Is the reckless spending and waste good or bad to y'all? It's bad. So if it's bad, why are y'all doing it? If it's bad, why are y'all doing it? It's 36 people watching on YouTube. Everybody, everybody that's one of those 36 people from YouTube, hit the like button. Let's boost this algorithm. Okay? This is not sustainable. Guys, in world history, and this is the reason why the founders said, do not centralize the money supply. Because when you have a centralized money supply, the Federal Reserve Bank, which is not a governmental agency, they're a banking cartel. They print the money up for a nation. They loan it to the nation on interest. That government starts to say, we're going to tax our people more and more and more. And we're going to continue to have endless wars and spending, and we're going to separate the dollar from tangible things like gold when they took it off the off the gold standard. That devalues the dollar. So you're working more for less. And over time, in the 1913 is when the Federal Reserve was created. 90% of the dollar's value has dropped since 1913. Okay, guys? This is not like some hooty hoo thing. In world history, when central banks do this over time, every fiat currency, especially those not tied to tangible like gold, that fiat currency's value always goes to zero. I do not think that the general public is getting this explained to them. It's like doctors and nurses, right? Nurses come in and explain what's happening. The doctor speaks fucking language that nobody gets, and the doctor has a horrible signature in cursive or whatever. But the nurse can explain this simply to the person. We have to make sure that we're explaining these things simply and how they're interconnected. Okay? So now you have to go do more. So you go from 300s playing in the background. You go from being Leonidas and the 300 and the Spartans, right? Then you start morphing into the empire that is the Persian Empire. You start going from Leonidas and the 300 to being Xerxes. Because now you got to feed the empire. Now you're the world's police. Now you're looking for wars everywhere. Now you're doing this. Now and it's printing up more money that centralized banking supply cartel loans to your government at an interest rate. You understand? So when a politician says no to reckless spending, not them being anti-American, supporting the radical leftist agenda as Trump just tried to package Massie as, that's not what's happening. What's happening is that person understands this economically and goes, this is unsustainable, this is wild, and we need to stop. So they say no, as they're supposed to. That's what's supposed to actually happen, guys. Let's read a little bit more of what Trump-Massie said here. The military, because this time has to keep conquering new just to feed his army. The military-industrial complex demands about $50 billion per year in war. Sidebar before I continue. This CR has $38 billion earmarked for Ukraine. I want to just keep going back to that point. Everybody just saw Trump and Jay up Zelensky and was like, we need to stop giving Ukraine more money. This continuing resolution has $38 billion still earmarked for Ukraine. As soon as we quit spending $50 billion per year in Afghanistan, we started spending $50 billion per year in Ukraine. Watch where the next $50 billion per year goes when we stop sending it to Ukraine. The military-industrial complex is always hungry. We trying to have a war with motherfuckers just bombed Somalia 3 times last month. This administration. We trying to say we got beef with Iran. They trying to convince you that Iran was responsible for the assassination attempt on Trump. That's cat. But they trying to make you believe it. Syria, Iran, Yemen, all of this shit. When you want to limit government, you limit the amount it spends. The military-industrial complex is an addiction, and politicians and companies get kickbacks. That's if you want to be the empire. I don't want to be the empire. I want to be America, left alone, leaving others alone. Unless you try to fuck with us, then we make you a fucking parking lot. That's what I'm with. Okay? So that $50 billion is trying to be earmarked for Iran. Watch how they about to do it. These things are not okay, guys. And for Donald Trump to do this and say this, it's just wrong. It's not hate. It's not this. It's not never Trumper. It's just wrong. Give me some comments in the chat section, guys. Please support the work. If you're getting something from this, if you're just getting great talking points to break this down for your friends that don't read, that listen to you, please support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. It's very, very important for us to do that. This work that we're doing needs support. This work that we're doing needs support, and we're going to ask everybody to support. We need 398 more donors at the $100 level, and we are done fundraising. I'm trapped in an RV, not RV until I do that. Okay? This is what we need, guys. This is what we need. Now, Super Weapons just said MAGA, make AIPAC grift America. What MAGA should stand for now. Now let's go into, and we'll wrap up here shortly, guys. Please, guys, support the work. Please, guys. There's 518 folks watching between X, between Facebook, wherever, guys. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. You don't have to donate at the $100 level. That just makes it easiest for us to count down. But donate whatever you can. 50 bucks. Some of y'all rich. Donate 1,000, whatever, right? Now let's tie this into AIPAC conversation. And I want to be very clear. A criticism of a foreign lobby and interest group is not a criticism of every Jewish person. Because I don't want y'all to start. We are solutionaries. We are nuanced. Okay. And I just don't want stupid ass statements like it's the Jews. Like every Jew isn't responsible for this. That's stupid. All right. I'm not, and that's not what I'm on. Okay. However, AIPAC is 1,000% a foreign lobby group that is involved. Trump-Massie is the one politician that does in DC that does not have an AIPAC guy. He said that in the Tucker Carlson show. Okay. Donald Trump has taken this presidency and during his campaign $231 million from AIPAC. $231 million from AIPAC. Trump-Massie has taken zero from AIPAC. Okay. John Kennedy, initially, AIPAC wasn't called AIPAC back in the day. Andrew Reister with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for those kind words as well. Okay. Now, I want to be very clear. AIPAC was not always called AIPAC. It was called something else. And John F. Kennedy was like, yo, this needs to be registered as a foreign agent lobbying group. And then not long after that, John F. Kennedy got shot in the head in front of his wife. Same organization. But nonetheless, Donald Trump takes $230 million from AIPAC. Donald Trump makes a move that seems to be hiding the association with the Israeli intelligence, Mossad, and the Epstein files, because we're gonna wrap all of this in together, guys. The rumor, and I gotta say rumor, I'm saying rumor just to use the word, because I don't want to put anything on anybody that they hand don't call for. The rumor is the blackmail from Epstein was because he would get those politicians in different countries and compromising positions with underage girls, and that's how he was able to run for so long. Donald Trump said day one of Epstein files is coming out. Pam Bondi is his AG. She's in charge. Kash Patel is his guy. He's in charge of the FBI. Pam Bondi said those documents, truckloads, were coming to her, and it was on her desk at one point. And these Israeli influencers, people that have association with Israeli organizations that got the binders, the phase one binders, said that this stuff was coming and nothing has happened of that. Pam Bondi also said, we're going to redact a lot of this stuff in this Epstein file when we do put it out because for national security. What the fuck does national security and Americans have to do with? No, they were sleeping with underage people, so y'all say, right? Let's put them all out there. But not if this exposes certain members of Israeli intelligence that had something to do with it as well, whether they were participating or they were setting it up. Sometimes you don't ask the question of who were the clients. You should also ask who was running the op, who was running the operation. It's a legitimate question. So we're getting a stall on these Epstein files. We're getting a lot of those influencers that got binder one, phase one, coming out against Trump-Massie. A lot of those influencers have had money or associations and dealings with AIPAC folks or Israeli government PR firms. So they control that narrative. So now you got Trump saying that. Then you factor in this other L. He just went out of his way. Still ain't get the Epstein files out there yet. He goes out of his way to arrest this kid. Well, he's not a kid. Khalil, that's doing protests at Columbia University. You get his green card revoked because of his anti-Semitic rhetoric and then calling him a terrorist. Now, I don't know if Khalil personally, to my knowledge, he did not. I don't know if Khalil was physically violent, broke stuff, destroyed property. I'm with that. If he gets deported for that, but not because he organized protest. Okay? I can't agree with that. And I don't agree with supporting Hamas or all that other shit. And the rule is, because I want to read the rule to you guys as it relates to because Trump didn't break the law by getting that kid locked up, detained, and possibly deported. He didn't break the law. Here's the rule on that. In a recent unanimous decision, the Supreme Court ruled the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has broad discretion to revoke approved visa petitions, and federal courts cannot review these decisions. I disagree with that part. This means that DHS can revoke a green card even after it's been approved and the decision cannot be challenged in court. I disagree with that. My point in saying this is Trump looks like he's deporting people that are expressing anti-Israeli government sentiment. Trump and his team has stalled the releasing of unredacted Epstein files. And now all of the people that are in alignment with these Israeli intelligence and or Israeli government alliances are now being protected. This starts to look like you just running a Israel first thing instead of an American first thing. I'm sorry if that sounds offensive, and I'm not attempting to sound offensive to anybody. I'm just looking at the information and the paper trail in front of me. And this is the reason why we need politicians that are not taking a whole bunch of money from AIPAC. I know how it go. This is the reason why I bug y'all so much about fundraising. If I took a job, if I went all the way left or all the way right and took a job, all right, or I got funding from some company as opposed to y'all and voluntarism, I would now be bound to talk about and not talk about the things that they don't want me to talk about and don't want me to do want me to talk about. That's what it is. When you get on a job, you got to wear this uniform. It is what it is. So I bug y'all about voluntary donations because we can stay some form of autonomous and independent. It's harder. You get pushback, but it's better for your soul, in my opinion. Okay? So when we look at all of this in the back-to-back, I'm going to tell y'all, Trump took 3 L's this week in the last damn near 3 days. The situation with Trump-Massie that we're talking about tonight, the handling of how he went along with that, getting that protester detained and possibly deported. I heard word that a federal judge or somebody said he can't revoke his visa for that. I don't know if that's true. I haven't done enough digging on that, but whatever. But I disagree with that. And I'm also saying that I'm not with if he was blocking Jewish students from leaving campuses and all that other shit. I'm not in agreement with that. That's not protest. That's fucking kidnapping. So I want to be very clear about that. But just because he's expressing, hey, I don't like what the Israeli government did and is galvanizing young people to push back against that. And a lot of these young people are fucking propagandized. I'm not arguing that they're right. I'm just saying in this country, we have a form of free speech. And that starts to look very, very fucking fascist. And I hate that they making me use leftist terminology, kind of. Right? But what other way could I package this? And then the last one that I just found this one out today. Today. Let me read this for y'all. And I'm totally in opposition to this. Today. Trump says he will label violence against Tesla dealerships as domestic terrorism. So now we calling people that are wrong, that are practicing. If you destroy property, cool. The local law enforcement should arrest that person and charge them for vandalism or breaking private property or whatever they're doing. But to now call them domestic terrorists because they're breaking glass at Tesla dealerships, no, I'm not condoning and saying that's right. But when you start calling everything fucking terrorism, like when you call, oh, this is a hate crime. He shot him because he white. He shot him because he black. He shot him because he Asian. That's a hate crime. No, it's a shooting. And that is the reason why we have laws to protect property and bodies. That's not a fucking hate crime. We don't need all this extra shit. The problem that what happens on the conservative side is, unfortunately, a lot of us use the power of the state when it's our people in control, not recognizing that we're just giving the state more control. And that's never a good thing. We want, like the founder said, we want limited government. We want restrictions on spending. We want a cap on the spending. We want a balanced budget. We want a streamlined process for lawful immigration to get into America. We want border security. We want a strong dollar. We want a respect for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These are the things that we want, and these are the conversations that we have to have. As you solutionaries that are in here, it's 571 of you watching this right now. My job is to continue to give you permission, to give yourself permission to communicate these things effectively and in a nuanced manner. You are not somehow now anti-Trump or anti-America because you're critical of Trump's decisions. And these last three, the Tesla thing, the Trump-Massie thing, and how he handled, and again, I'm not saying that how doing that was illegal, but you got to question the motive behind it. If we have not even had the Epstein files, how were we able to galvanize around this college student for anti-Semitic rhetoric? And I'm doing the air quotes. But you haven't done the first thing. I love the first 2 weeks, maybe month of the this term. Got in immediately, slash. But then you push back on the person that's like, hey, we still about to mess the money up. It doesn't go together. It just doesn't go together. And again, before any of y'all want to jump out there and be like, homage, you anti-Semitic. First of all, I'm about to convert to Judaism, if y'all didn't know that. But I got to look at this politically from a governmental perspective. That Israeli government is doing shit that's not cool. The Americans that are saying that they're America first, it doesn't look America first. Tell me where I'm wrong, guys. I want to hear from y'all in the chat because we about to wrap up soon. But I want to hear from y'all in the chat. Guys, and again, if you're getting some value from this content, please, everybody, there's 579 people in here. If everybody that's 500, imagine if everybody gave $100. We would be killing it. The reason why I'm able to stay free and do the classes and not take a job with some company that's going to tell me to, I can't, some gun company or some Second Amendment company or some libertarian newspaper or some media outlet. The reason why I'm able to do this is because I work for y'all. This is hard work. Please, guys, 582 folks in here. Imagine if everybody donated $50. We got 398 more donors at the $100 level, and we're done fundraising. This fundraising shit is hard, y'all. When we look at Trump-Massie getting the support that he's getting, it's because he's speaking truth to power when power is wrong. And we need your help. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I'm going to put it back up on the screen, guys. Please support the actual work. I want to give you guys all of this content. I want to do this every single day. Oh, I can't find it again. Somebody type it. Bookworm. I think Bookworm typed it last. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Massey's safe because he has a constituent base that's going to support him because he's doing the job that they told him to do. I want to continue working for y'all. I got to get my job done and knocking off this fundraising shit. I have to. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. It's right there on the screen. Guys, we need 398 donors at the $100 level, and we are done. We have a $75,000 donor match. 75 and 75 is 150. We buy our solutionary center. I can just focus on the work and sales, the merch, and all that other good stuff. I need everybody's help. Kaiwan Calendar says, how much is not going to be America? I know there's a few neocons around in the truck, but this you know that not. Now, you got to retype that, Kaiwan. That wording is a little off. I don't know what you're saying. Guys, tell me where I'm wrong. Mark of Isaiah says, anti-Zionist rhetoric is greater than anti-Semitic rhetoric. I'm not even saying, listen, I don't even like using those words because people box you in with the words. I'm not Zionist. I'm not anti-Zionist. I'm not none of that shit. I'm just a righteous dude that believes in America first. And if one particular government is involving where damn near all of our elected officials in DC that we send to DC has a what do you call them? AIPAC guy, I have to question that. Everybody should question that. $230 million to Trump, and he's responding and calling, "Oh, this is anti-Semitic." Bro, that's like let me put it in terms where some of my white followers could get. That's like black people calling everything fucking racist on the left, right? That's like white people that are like, the white man is under attack. Like everything is not an attack. Everything is not anti-Semitic. Everything is not racist. It's just not. So it's not anti-Semitic to ask certain questions. They're packaging it that way so you don't ask certain questions. And me, the reason why I've been able from the Second Amendment space to the political space to continue to communicate this way is because I'm not in their clutches, and I can only not be in their clutches if we get the support. I love doing this and giving these breakdowns for everybody. I love it. I want y'all to take from this and go into those talking points. Trump had 3 L's this week, y'all, already. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, a L a day. And again, I'm not condoning those students at Columbia or any university locking somebody in because they Jewish. I'm not with that shit. I'm a fan of campus carry for that reason. Any Jewish, black, white, Asian, because last year was Stop Asian Hate, whatever. Anybody that's trying to attack you for your values or your skin tone or whatever, that's stupid. And I'm not condoning that. But when certain college students are protesting, going, "Hey, what's going on?" Trump said something about there will be no, we're not supporting illegal protests. Protests, by definition, are peaceable assemblies. They may be uncomfortable, annoying as hell, but that does not mean that they are kidnappings, breaking people's shit, stopping people from getting into buildings. That's not what that is. It's not. Super Weapons with the $5 super chat says the AIPAC Israel convo, you have to fight full force with Brandolini's law. What's Brandolini's law? That's something I don't know what that means. What's that? I love learning. What's Brandolini's law? Somebody tell me what that is. We got 600 folks watching, guys. This might be one of our most watched lives. I want to say thank you to everybody supporting. Thank you. Guys, 398 of you to go over to that link right there. Let's say if every 612 gave $50. Guys, the reason why Massie is able to stay in and tell truth to power when power is wrong is because he has the support of his constituents. Y'all are my constituents. I work for y'all. I'm asking everybody to pitch in. If there's no other questions, guys, I think that's a cool place to wrap up. If there's no other questions, we're going to wrap up. David Longo says freedom is an all-encompassing word and needs to remain that way for us to survive as a free republic. 1000% agree with that. Guys, my name is Maj Toure. I want to thank you all for tapping in tonight. I want to thank you all. Please, when this is saved to YouTube, whatever you're watching it on, Facebook, Rumble, whatever platform, please share it all over the place. And I'm asking, guys, we need 300 and I think 98 more donors at the $100 level. We are done fundraising. Fundraising is hard as hell and annoying as hell. If I'm tired of asking y'all for the help, I know y'all tired of hearing me, but I gotta keep it going. Gotta keep it going. Super Weapon says Brandolini's laws, the amount of energy needed to refute bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than needed to produce it. Oh, I fuck with that. Right? Guys, support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Let's see if, folks, anybody in here that can commit, please do a comment, whatever. Commit to it. Don't say you're going to do it and don't do it. Soon as I end this live, just hit the link. If you're watching this on X, it's the pinned post. If you want to get it from me directly, I'm going to be on one of these phones. Shoot me a DM. I'll send you the direct link. Everybody that donates at the $100 level, you get a membership to the Solutionary 9, shooting drills, workout routine, meal plans, macros, all of the classes, firearm safety, understanding imminent threat, civics. You get curriculums for all of those. You get access to the Solutionary Telegram group, which is thousands of solutionaries that you can network with all around the country, all for paying it forward to help us get this building and keep these classes free to all. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. My name is Maj Toure, the founder of Solutionary University. Thank you all for tapping in. Share this space all over the place. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I will see you all tomorrow. Be safe, be solutionary.